Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to say call hello, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash. I want to send double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to Yakim out there pushing the word of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, in sincerity and truth. It's the brother Ariala. And basically, I was watching this video, and it just reminded me of how just Esau's got so many different parts moving to get people really, in the mindset to just accept anything. Right now, we see this bird flu. This flu season has been a record level of flu season. I mean, I know even brothers all across the states have been getting sick. Their families, we definitely put up prayers for brothers, but they engineer this stuff, man. They engineer this stuff, and the scripture said that we would live in times where you would have increased pestilences and diseases, and there, some of this stuff happens naturally, but some of this stuff the Most High puts the minds on the people to do this. Here in Luke chapter 21, verse 10 and 11, this is in GNT, it says, he went on to say, countries will fight against other kingdoms. Countries will fight each other. Kingdoms will attack one another. There will be terrible earthquakes, famines, and plagues everywhere. There will be strange and terrifying things coming from the sky. And so we're seeing these things. We're seeing more and more celestial events, but we're also seeing these plagues, man. So I want to play this clip. We definitely already did an algorithm on this back when the jab came out. We talked about vaccines and how they work and how they have no efficacy. They really are not efficient to do anything, because these DNA or these RNA strands that viruses are, they change. They change rapidly. Actually, when they create these different jabs or so-called jabs, it just makes these viruses become superbugs, because they just figure out the jab and then they mutate, and it's happening in real time, man. These bugs that they're making are weapons, man. So I'm gonna play this real quick. A matter of fact, I'm gonna play this real quick, man. Not real quick. I'm gonna play about 5 minutes of it.
The latest CDC tracking data on bird flu suggests the virus may be spreading undetected among humans.
Now, I will tell you that COVID was a minor pandemic. People say it's the biggest pandemic we had in 100 years. It's a minor pandemic. It had probably less than 0.5% mortality, and then only in certain patient populations, those over 60, over 65.
Quick, 30 seconds. Why should we be worried about bird flu?
Bird flu is going to be a major pandemic. If the cases to date in humans have about 50% mortality. If you look at bird flu right now, it's in over 150 million of our chickens and birds. We now know it's in 48 different mammal species. It's now gotten into humans. It's starting to change in humans. Once it learns how to go human to human, we will have a catastrophic pandemic.
We also learned this weekend that the number of hospitalizations is up to 4. That doesn't seem like much, and it isn't, but the worry is if the virus is left unchecked, a more substantial health crisis could be looming.
Now to the spread of bird flu.
And a lot of people are not going to the hospital. They're thugging it out. Some people are passing away, but we're going to see. You know what I'm saying? Right now in the States, you have a massive egg crisis, and you know that they've probably been taking this stuff down in different labs and doing all types of madness. Job chapter 13 verse 4 says, but ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physicians of no value. All right, so these guys make up magic. They go and make up all types of stuff to justify their wickedness, man. And you best believe these things are not happening in isolation by accident. These are formulated, put together, and pushed out. And it's all end time prophecy, whether it's the technology, behind the MOTB, these pestilences, all the stuff that we're seeing with the eclipses and celestial events, all of this stuff are signs of the end.
Which is causing egg prices to soar. Dozen eggs now 50% more expensive than a year ago, and there appears to be no relief in sight. Several U.S. Department of Agriculture employees working on the country's response to bird flu were accidentally fired over the weekend, and now the government is trying to hire them back. In a statement released yesterday, the agency says it's working to rescind the letters for the positions related to bird flu efforts. The latest data shows 151 confirmed flocks have been hit by bird bird flu affecting 23 million birds. The CDC has confirmed 68 cases of bird flu among humans in the U.S. so far.
So we've been talking about bird flu for quite a bit. I mean, is now the time when people really need to start paying attention with the number of cases that we have? I mean, those are pretty extraordinary numbers.
I think to put this into context, it would be helpful for people to understand how a pandemic bird flu emerges. And we have a graphic, I think, that's going to come up on screen here to help illustrate this. So the bird flu can infect birds as well as mammals, which include pigs, cattle, and cats. People can get infected with the bird flu when they come into close contact with infected animals. So farm workers, for example, are at high risk for infection. At the same time, people can get infected.
But it's a huge leap forward. And
Hit by bird flu affecting 23 million birds. The CDC has confirmed 68 cases of bird flu among humans in the U.S. so far.
So people can get infected with the bird flu when they come into close contact with infected animals. So farm workers, for example, are at high risk for infection. At the same time, people can get infected with the regular human flu during winter flu season. And so a person could get infected with both the human flu and the bird flu at the same time, especially if, say, they're a farm worker or someone else who comes into close contact with infected animals. So now the flu virus is made up of 8 different pieces of genetic material. When you have different flu strains infect a person or another animal at the same time, those flu strains can swap parts. And that's how you make a new hybrid flu strain. These new hybrid flu strains can be especially dangerous because now you can get the...
And they do a lot of these strains in labs to test it out to see. And then they introduce it into the population and act like it just happened naturally. They're physicians of no value, you know?
the human-to-human spread, and that can spark a pandemic.
What is a horror movie? I mean, that is terrifying.
It's Frankenstein, right?
Of course, now they have authorized vaccines, bird flu vaccines for poultry. And one of the things about influenza is that it is a...
Now, he's going to break it down how this stuff don't work, man. It just makes them super soldiers. You know, so they create these different jabs, and it ends up making things much worse. That's why these people have to be taken out of the earth, bro. You know, these people have to be taken out the way. In Revelation 18:23, it says, the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And these are like we said, these are physicians of no value. And when you look up this word, sorcerers, you know, let's get it real quick. You can see the word.
Strong's G 5331. Pharmakeia.
All right, so they, you know, this word it says the use of administering of drugs, poisoning, sorcery, magical arts, often found in connection with idolatry and fostered by it. All right, you know, of course, for this verse, metaphorically, the deceptions and seduction of idolatry. But the point is, this pharmakeia, man, is how they push this onto the people, man. These different scientists that create these jabs, they're nothing but modern day sorcerers and witches, magicians. Just like back in ancient Egypt, you had magicians that worked on the left hand side. These guys that create all these different things are doing the same thing to jack people up. All right, and they, if we can understand how it's bad, trust me, they know. When you look up this word pharmacy in the etymology, pharmacy, a medicine that rids the body of excess of humors. Also, treatment with medicine, theory of treatment with medicine from the French pharmakeia, purgative, skipping down. It says from the Greek pharmakeia, a healing or harmful medicine, a healing or poisonous herb, a drug, poisonous potion, magic, dye, raw material for physical or chemical processing, right? Coming from the word pharmacus, a preparer of drugs, a poisoner, a sorcerer. See? And that's what we have now, man. These dudes are doing sorcery on the world population, basically, man. But it's all prophecy. The Most High wants these plagues to go out. Most High's pushing these plagues to touch the earth.
Multi-stranded single-strand RNA virus, which means that it mutates, drifts, and shifts very rapidly. And it's almost impossible, has been impossible, to develop a universal influenza vaccine. They've been trying for my entire career to do this. And they continue to talk the talk, as Jerry Parker does, that, we just have to somehow magically find the right antigen, and then we will have a universal influenza vaccine, give us another $500 million. That's how that dialogue works. And it has failed again and again. What the vaccinologist kind of cabal, as I talk about it, it's a group of people that suffer from group. What they all share is the belief that since you can vaccinate for some things, like measles, you can be able to develop a vaccine for all things. But that's not true. Here's a key thing. If you get infected with measles, it's generally a one and done. You get infected once, typically as a child, and there's a reason why it circulates in children mostly. You get infected once, and then you're immune for life. So it makes sense that you can make a measles vaccine that would also protect you over a long period of time, because the infection itself does. Influenza, no. We all know that influenza comes back around season after season after season, and just because you've been infected last year, you're not protected this year. And furthermore, the vaccines that people have tried to make are typically running in the range of 20 to 50% effective in terms of preventing infection and disease. Now, that's going to happen with the birds also. And what's going to happen, and the rest of the world knows this. I don't know why Jerry Parker is supporting this idea as a vet. He is all in with Peter.
Because they have an agenda, and they, in the spirit of the Lord, want them to push this stuff, man.
Hotez, and he is all part of this, vaccinate our way out of everything. But what is going to happen if we start vaccinating poultry with a leaky influenza vaccine, because all influenza vaccines are leaky, is that what we will do is evolve a more vaccine-resistant bird flu. And then we've got even more of a problem. And overseeing the
boom, then you have even more of a problem. So basically, they create these super bugs that go around and start wasting people away. And hey, we still in the time for this to hit, and it'll take a lot of people out, man. Take a lot of people out. Like the guy said at the beginning, the first go around of the lockdowns was something that was didn't have a high mortality rate. It had a high infection rate, or it was very contagious, but it wasn't taking people out. Well, this one, if the mortality rate is above 40-50%, you're talking about swaths and swaths of people being taken out by pestilence. That's a real pandemic. In 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 17, it says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginnings of famines and great death, the beginnings of wars, and the power shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these things shall come? Behold, famine and plague. Right? Plague is coming. Tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. So the Most High wants these things happen, man, to correct and chastise the world for all the wickedness. It says, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always be mindful of the scourges. They're not going to think, oh, this is happening because we're living in decadence and wickedness. So the Most High is going to have to get to the point to where he completely decimates this place, man. But brothers want to go watch this video. It's on the Anonymous official page. Basically, this is the title, 2525 Pandemic Emergency. They're pushing this stuff hard, man. And we all noticed that this flu season was crazy. So it could be setting up just more prophetic things coming down the pipeline, man. And we say, hey, man, call halal Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. So with that being said, once again, hey, like I just said, call halal Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Shem Kudash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Much peace, love, and salutations to y'all came out there pushing the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Sincerely and true shalom.